Ooh, okay. Well, let's not talk about bad things. We're here to be happy.
Exactly. And sometimes, it could be at Disney and, sometimes the company alone is what makes it a great meal.
Yeah.
The memories you can make with your friends or your family, it helps a lot.
Yeah, let's be happy, have some great food, and spend some great time with our good friends. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. You're wrapping up a long Disney day, riding the bus back to your resort, and you look across the aisle and think, wait a minute, I swear I know that guy. Then you realize one of your Disney Geek friends has somehow appeared at Walt Disney World without telling you. Hey, Disney Geeks, Curtis Stone here, host of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. This week I'm joined by my good friend and one of my favorite weird internet friends, Andy Hoffman. Andy surprised Margita and me by showing up on our anniversary trip without telling us he was coming, and somehow, of all the buses and all the resorts at Disney World, we ran into each other on a Port Orleans Riverside bus. We'll hear about Andy's surprise trip, the fun of experiencing Disney with friends who haven't done everything before, and then we get into a topic that may make you very hungry. Our top 10 Disney World restaurants outside the parks. If you're thinking about planning your next Disney vacation in some epic universe, my wife Margita, our good friend Auntie Judy are the Travelin' Tiaras, your trusted Disney travel planners. Whether you're booking Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Universal, or beyond, I'll help you plan a smart, stress-free vacation from start to finish. Are you already booked? No problem. You can transfer your reservation to us and still get expert tips, strategy, and support. And it's a great way to support the show. We truly appreciate every listener who trusts Margita and Judy with their vacation. Get started by emailing them, travelintiaras@gmail.com. Don't worry about remembering it. It's in the show notes every single week in that app that you listen to the show with. Or you can reach out to us, Facebook Messenger. And right now there are great opportunities for upcoming travel, so it's a perfect time to start planning. It's always a good time to plan. I bet you are planning your next vacation or thinking about it because you're listening to this podcast. And this episode is packed with a completely unexpected Disney Geek reunion on a resort bus, Andy's spontaneous trip with friends experiencing Disney favorites for the first time, our favorite resort and Disney Springs restaurants, burgers, steaks, barbecue, buffets, bread pudding, and one untouchable No Way Jose. Some great places to enjoy Disney without a park ticket. I think we had quite a bit of agreement on our list. And we got honorable mentions and very strong food opinions. This episode isn't really just about ranking restaurants. It's about the memories connected to those meals. It's sitting around a table with people you love, laughing about old geek meetups, remembering friends, celebrating new grandchildren, and realizing that sometimes the restaurant becomes a favorite because of who's sitting beside you. And sometimes the best Disney moments are completely unplanned. Like spotting one of your friends on a resort bus when you had no idea he was even in Florida. All right, Disney geeks, bring your appetite. Don't go to the grocery store after this episode. Keep your hands away from my No Way Jose. You'll be just fine. And let's jump in and geek out together about our favorite restaurants. I don't know if this has ever happened to you when you go on a romantic Disney World vacation for your anniversary with your wife, having some great solo time. You get on the bus, long day at Disney World, and you're looking forward to just chilling out a little bit. And, you're kind of tired. You're looking at some of the people on the bus, and you're like, I swear that guy looks familiar. And as I look a little closer, oh my God, it's Andy Hoffman. How the heck did you get there, Andy?
And that was the funny part. Like I looked over because where we were, because I got on with a friend of mine who happened to be down there at the same time. It was kind of a true coincidence. But I looked over, I'm like, I kind of, it was like from the angle, and it was kind of, there's just something there. I'm like, God, is that Kurt? I'm like, no, but like, where's Margita? Then I look at the back of the bus, and I'm like, I think that's Margita, but I haven't seen Margita in like 2 years. And she looks great, and I'm like, I think that's Margita. And then I went back and I'm like, well, I know that's Margita. So I went back, and we kind of saw each other and waved. So then I went back to talk to her, and then you saw me, and then yeah, you were. I got on at I think the second bus stop or the first bus stop, I forget, and then you were getting off on the last one, and I'm like, and I go to myself, I'm like, huh, I wonder if I'll run into Kurt. And then I saw you then, and then with 45 minutes of my trip, and I didn't see you the rest of the weekend.
Yes. So we're going to talk about Andy's surprise trip to Disney World a little bit, but we're going to do something fun that we've been doing. Maybe we only had one episode like this, but we're going to do, Andy's the second one coming on to do this. I did this with Bill Carmichael. We're going to do a top 10, and I asked Andy to pick from a list of choices that I had. And what'd you pick?
I do want to clarify that I did suggest the 10 most hated Yankees. Number 10 is Chuck Knobloch, and I got no response from you.
I didn't know you started the list already. I remember you said that. I totally ignored you.
Rightfully so. It's funny, in a brief tangent on the Yankees is, the Yankees have dominated my Twins for years, but I will say one of my, outside my Twins winning the World Series in 1991, and one of the greatest things I watched on TV, one of my two favorite things is, and I've talked to Rob Madury about this, is Mariano Rivera on his last appearance as a Yankee uniform, him getting pulled from the game by, Jeter and Pettit go out to the mound. They call the bullpen, and Mo's and just in shock, and he just breaks down. And as a baseball fan, no matter who you root for, if you didn't love that, you're dead inside.
Well, thank you for that. And in the big rivalry here in the Northeast with Boston, they're brutal. I mean, both are.
Well, and then what's my second one is it was Jeter's his last regular season game at Yankee Stadium. He hits the walk-off hit, but his last appearance at Fenway, the way the Red Sox did it, it was just such a nice send-off to a great player.
Yeah, I like to see that good sportsmanship in sports, especially, heated rivalry, but I agree with you. You gotta honor. I always enjoyed going to Boston games when I was in college. I would root for the Boston Red Sox. I'm kind of a weird. I like it.
Yeah. And if you haven't been to Fenway, highly recommend it. It is, and then do the tour, the day before, the day after. My buddy and I did a baseball road trip this one was 10 years ago. And we ended at Fenway, went to the Red Sox game on weekday night in May. And then the next day we went on the tour of Fenway, and, they bring it to the top of the Green Monster. And that was so cool.
Very iconic and great atmosphere in the area around Fenway Park. I always enjoyed Boston, going to school there. All right, we're here to talk about Disney World. So what was the topic that we've settled on?
Top 10 restaurants. I'm going to do mine 10 to 1. And then I said, let's have at least list 1 to 3 favorite things you've had at that restaurant that, what makes it a top one for you. And these were, I will say, the other part is outside the parks. So at the resorts in Disney Springs.
That's right. We're not going to be in the parks. These are all outside. This is a thing I said before that when I first started going to Disney World, there was several trips I didn't even know there were restaurants in the resorts. And when I
totally get that. It's also a thing if, let's say you're down there and you know what? I don't want to go to parks every day. You can do so much. Go to a different resort and check in a restaurant, and then, explore that resort, before or after you dine. I've done that a few times, and it's a good way to be like, oh, maybe I do want to stay here if I can, convince somebody who has DVC points that I'm friends with. They'll say, hey, Andy, you can crash with us and stay in our baby bed again. We've missed you.
Yeah, my friend Joe Taylor is going to be in Florida on vacation for 2 weeks, and he's going to be there for Judy's birthday party.
Nice.
And we're trying to make plans, and he said, I just want to do something outside the parks, go to dinner, just hang out with you. And so your topic here inspired me because I'm trying to think of a restaurant to do, and maybe that'll come up as we're talking about this.
And speaking of top 10 list, I know he doesn't do it as often, but the Simple Joe podcast,
Yes,
Joe Taylor, he would do his, I believe, Friday top 10s. And I was on there one time with, I believe, top 10 road trip snacks.
that's right.
And then every once in a while, actually, it was a couple months ago, Joe had a layover in MCO, and he sends me a text. He's like, hey, I'm just thinking about your battle. He's like, the layover in MCO. And he was like, I think coming back or going to London or somewhere over in the overseas.
Right. Yes, he's got work overseas, so he goes to Europe on occasion. Yeah, so that's a great topic. We love food. I've had fun. What I did is I got the URLs, the websites for every one of the menus of these. So I'm gonna look at these. Some of them, to your point, I've had before, and let everyone know too. Andy and I have similar tastes. I think we are meat and potatoes guys, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how we compare because we don't compare notes beforehand. So
No.
we'll see how we do. And I apologize to Kevin Curtis Allen. He's probably already turned this off because it's all about food.
Well, before we do that, Kevin can hang on a little bit. I want to ask Andy about this surprise trip I didn't know anything about. He just, stalked me a little bit there and shocked me. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? You didn't even tell me you were going to be here?
No, I kept it on the down low. I had a good buddy of mine that I've known for, 30 years. And he's like, hey, the family and I are going to go down there. He's like, you know, the most of anybody I know. He's like, do you want to, if you can, no big deal. He's like, you want to hang out, give you some advice? And he's like, well, I might just come down and join you. He's like, seriously? I'm like, oh yeah, fare's decent. I'm going to go pass. So I met him down there. And then I ended up having another friend who she went down there with her family in late June or mid-June, I forget. But then she had to be down there at the same time. So I ended up spending some time with her too. But yeah, I stayed at Port Orleans Riverside. I was over at I believe in the Oak Manor section. I was just looking at the map and I believe that's where I was. It was 2 months ago. So I've kind of forgotten or it was 8 weeks ago. But yeah, it was a slower time. I think you probably experienced the same thing where, yeah, I had the lightning lanes, but there's a couple days I probably could have done without it just because a lot of the rides were sort of walk on. So it wasn't insanely hot like it would be right now, but it is that because I think it was 2 weeks before Memorial Day. So it's that time where kids are still in school. Mom and dad are probably not going to pull them out for a week before, right before school gets out. So it's a good time. And they had some amazing AP rates for the resorts. Yeah, I got to spend some time with friends and kind of just go at a different pace and experience, watch them experience some of the rides and attractions for the first time. So it was fun.
What would you say were the top 3 to 5 experiences on that trip then?
I'd say like seeing them experience like Haunted Mansion, Pirates, that amazing ice cream sandwich they have at Animal Kingdom. That's at, I think 2 carts now. Just this great ice cream sandwich. Tasting that, and then with them we did a couple meals. We'll talk about it more, but we went to Topolino's and Beaches and Cream, and just again, kind of as somebody who's a seasoned. I don't want to call myself a seasoned vet, expert, but somebody who's been a few times and going to somebody who's new to the parks and just kind of experiencing it with them. Actually, one of my fun one was my one friend I met down there. We were over at Magic Kingdom and we walked past Philhar Magic. I'm like, oh, hey, have you ever been? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, let's go. Your girls might like it. So we ended up going and she's like, oh my gosh, that's great. I wouldn't have thought about that. I wouldn't have gone there. And they went and her girls loved it. So she's like, they were like, oh mom, this is great. Da, da, da. And it made me feel like the expert, right? I actually knew what I was doing. So
you do, know what you're doing. Although, Andy, is there don't surprise me now. Well, you can surprise me now. Is there anything in Disney World because you always come up with stuff like, I never did that before. I don't know, like the movie in France or something. You'll tell me you never did.
I still have not done the Hall of Presidents.
Oh, there you go.
I think at the Hall. Oh, I did Reflections of China for the first time on this last trip.
Okay. Why have you never done the Hall of Presidents?
Because it's boring. I don't want to learn. I'm at Disney, man.
You're a ride guy. You don't go.
I am. And, yeah. And it's like, I will say it would be nice to get out into the AC, but I'll go watch, wasn't until a year ago, I went to Country Bear Jamboree for the first time.
I was just going to mention that. Well, so
I did that on this trip. It was great.
Aren't you glad?
I am. It's a new What's funny is I never saw the old show, but I've seen the new one like 3 times.
Cracks me up.
I've also never done a Hoop-Dee-Doo review.
All right. Well, as a geek, that's not really acceptable, but.
And Hoop-Dee-Doo is not on my top 10 of restaurants. So,
well, yes, that's a good one that you should do. I think you'd enjoy that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's in the Country Bear kind of line of fun that I think you would enjoy.
I mean, I still remember the couple times as that first G3 that I went to is the amazing time we had at Yeehaw Bob's.
That was for me too, the first time.
Yeah. Oh, really? And that me too. But that was still like, with like Nick Ayub and Glenn Kessler, jigging, dancing on their backs on the floor. And later that night, Glenn spitting his drink in, Baldy McSkunkbeard's face, and all in all, good time.
You'd be hard pressed to beat that experience at Yeehaw Bob.
That's the thing. You do it once, you can never repeat that experience.
No, I challenge anyone that was there to try to repeat that experience that we had. That was pretty unique. All us geeks there enjoying it. Yeah, that's interesting. I think you'd like the fried chicken and ribs and the meal too.
Yeah, I had when we came here for Kevin's birthday, we went to, what was it, 50s Primetime, and I had the fried chicken there, and that was pretty good.
Very good.
It's funny, we have a local, we have a really good roasted chicken place in our town, but we also have a grocery store that also has really good roasted chicken. We always have debates on who's got the better roasted chicken. Is it the Nolan's, the grocery store, or the Coop, the place that also has really good conies?
Well, we're going to have a debate now. Let's get into our 10 favorite restaurants. Of course, they could change. I could always do some honorable mentions, but let's alternate. Why don't you give me your number 10?
My number 10, Trattoria El Forno over at the Boardwalk. I've been there only for breakfast. I've had the breakfast pizza, which is good. I know they've gotten the size portion has gone down, but they do a really good oak grilled steak and eggs. That's pretty reasonable. I think it's right around $25 or less. It's a good way to start the day.
I would recommend doing dinner. And that's so funny that you said that, because that was my number 11. It's like I was trying to get some variety in my list.
Okay.
And I love Italian food. I think that's a sleeper that people miss.
It is.
And I was looking at the menu of that, although I didn't see the big meatball on their menu, which they used to have. That was something I know Judy and I had one time. But I was looking at the menu. Anything Italian. I love Italian sauce. They have pizzas, of course. But yeah, the breakfast is great. We've done that several times. I love the Boardwalk area.
It's a great area.
And
it just has to, Chris Futrell, a.k.a. Baldy McSkunkbeard. Him and Bubba Mac, two things I've picked up from those wonderful gentlemen is just relaxing and taking in the sights and the sounds. And one of my favorite things is to do it over the Beach Club. They have the little beach right there with a couple swings. Just sit on that, close your eyes, and just soak it in.
I think when I had Chris on recently, he was saying the same thing, which is amazing to me because that's where I grew up on Disney, going to the conference and
I've heard you talk about that. It's just a great area, and I think it also gets overlooked where people just are racing to go from the other places on there, and oftentimes those swings are not occupied.
Great area to relax. And I don't know if you notice, you wouldn't know this shirt I'm wearing, but if you look very closely, it's called the Ugly Mug. It's a restaurant in Cape May, New Jersey. And a good friend of ours, Deirdre, picked this up for me on her last trip.
Nice. Yeah, she was just out there like 2 months ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. She got this. I think Margita told her to go down there.
She went out there to do some bird watching.
Yeah, there's a great federal bird reserve.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Wildwood, where we would stay, we would call it it's called Wildwood Crest, and it's right up against a bird sanctuary at the
very cool.
At the end of that beach. That's the great thing I like about the Atlantic Ocean too. It's that the wildness of it, Wildwood, and then there's the bird sanctuary, and then Cape May is right after that. So that was pretty cool. One of my favorite vacation places.
Already, Kurt, what's your number 10?
Number 10. Geyser Point Bar and Grill. And I love this because it's a bar and grill. I love it. You got to talk about the atmosphere too when you're talking about some of these places. Like we were talking about the boardwalk, great place to hang out. I mean, the Wilderness Lodge is so awesome.
Yeah, Geyser Point, and it's just you're out there, and yeah, obviously the skyline's going to change now with the new resort opening. But walking around, Wilderness Lodge and just being at Geyser Point, minus the crazy heat, being on the water, I almost feel like I'm in at a point like at a cabin or in northern Minnesota. So that is the nice thing. Yeah, highly recommend it.
Wasn't this an Audible we just recently did? Did we do this one when we were?
Yeah, you, I, and
Dan, right?
Robinson went when we went in back in February.
Yeah. Of course, you got to talk about the bison burger, right?
Bison burger is so good. And if you're not super hungry, you can easily split that with somebody.
Right. We did it.
So that's the nice part is you could go over there today for a midday snack, hop on the boat, go over there, have yourself a little snack and go back. And I've not had it, but I know, Dave Youngward of the Disney Crush podcast raves about the bison meatballs.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big fan of some of the lunch options, quick serve at Magic Kingdom. And this is a great option.
I do like Casey's Corner or nothing.
But how many, if you do something over and over again, if you can get away from the park and get a relaxing couple hours over there, I'll tell you.
And especially at Christmas time, if you can go see that ginormous Christmas tree in the lobby of Wilderness Lodge.
So, Andy, I'm looking at the menu here. There's some other, the burger is always great. Matter of fact, when Dan and I and Andy were there, we were saying, I think when we were there, we should do a burger like every night while we're and compare them all. Just like do a trip just doing burgers and see which restaurant has the best burger. But it's got bacon, sweet crispy onion straws, marinberry sauce, and garlic aioli. That's a good one.
Yeah, and like you say, you could easily do like a burger thing. You could, hit up Steakhouse 71, hit up Geyser Point.
Wailulu.
You could do Wailulu. You could do Three Bridges.
Yeah. Three Bridges almost made my list too because I like that atmosphere, right?
Our lists are a little bit different. I'm curious now to see because I may have two of these high on my list. So, and if you're a cocktail fan, I love the Huckleberry Punch at Geyser Point.
Right, great idea. I'm looking at their menu. They got a half rack of barbecue ribs, which I'm a big fan of. They also have a ribeye steak sandwich. So sometimes it's hard to pick on some of these menus.
It is. You know that bison burger is going to be good. And sometimes, because my wife gives me a hard time because there's a restaurant we go to that I oftentimes get the same thing. And she's like, there's variety here. I said, I know, but I know I like this. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to try something else and be disappointed. And then be like, oh, crud. I went off menu and now off my usual. And now I'm like disappointed.
And I think the cost is good. Even that's one thing I wanted to say about Fortuna, whatever, Forno.
I struggle with it too. We know our friends are shaking their fists at us right now.
I know that's it's a decent value price. I think, bison cheeseburger at $26. It's a nice meal. All right. What's your number 9?
We are going to we're going to stay at Wilderness Lodge and we are going to go to, I did Storybook Dining for the first time back in 2025 and did it's a price fixed menu. They have shared appetizers. Two of my favorite things is the mushroom bisque and the wicked shrimp cocktail. The nice part is if you go with somebody that's not and they can bring you like your little individual portion of the mushroom bisque, and I believe the shrimp was more shareable. But if you have people that aren't mushroom fans, and you have a decent sized group, you can eat theirs. And they have a few entrees. My favorite is the prime rib.
Yeah.
And what's great if you haven't been there is it's a character dinner. So they have Snow White, the Evil Queen, Dopey, and Grumpy.
Yes, great characters that you don't see.
It's not a cheap dinner. You're gonna pay. I think it's
a signature,
around $65 a person.
Yeah, it was a signature.
And again, for me, it's like you're getting the characters. Yeah, but at the same time, and that doesn't include drinks. And you can get drinks, so you can easily go if you get yourself 2 drinks. You're going to be out. If it's you and your partner, you could easily be out $100. So it's $69 per adult, but you go to any, you know, if you get the prime rib or they have a braised pork shank, they have fish. Maybe not necessarily if you get like and a few other things. You're probably not going to get your money's worth. But if you get like the prime rib or the slow braised pork shank, you can get your money's worth of what you're paying for in your food.
Yeah, another restaurant where I have a hard time choosing between the prime rib and the pork shank because they're both very good. That pork shank melts in your mouth.
Yeah, and that's the nice part too. If you go with somebody who's in the group and you're comfortable enough with each other, you can be like, "Hey, I want to get this. Can I try yours?" That's why Deirdre Watts is an amazing partner to dine with. Already, Kurt, what is your number 9?
Well, I wanted to comment on that one too. That's one of Margita's favorites, and yeah, the presentation, and it's really fun how they bring out those.
And I believe I've only done it once, so you might know more than me. But I think they make it a little more fair, especially to see the Evil Queen, because I remember they brought us up to see her. And the great part was, Missy from the Main Girls. She was I ate dinner with her that night, and Missy went to go, and I will never forget this. Missy went to go fist bump the Queen, and the Queen just was like,
yeah.
And Missy's like, sorry.
She's a little,
just totally in character. It was great.
Yeah, she's probably one of the, like you say, in character is a great description of who the Evil Queen is.
And then you'll see her break down if it's a small child who's won her heart, but if it's an adult, she'll be like,
she plays the role. It's great,
which is good.
There's a great lounge right there too. Stop in for a drink before your reservation. The Territory Lounge, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, we stopped in there before we went there for the dinner, and it was during the marathon weekend of 2025. So it was I think it was like Missy and Heidi, Samantha and her parents, and a few other people. I apologize. Oh, all the Main Girls were there, but it was good because Samantha's dad and I went in there and each had a beer. Which Samantha's dad is not a big drinker, so she was like, "You're going to go have a drink with Andy, really?" So,
all right, now what am I? Number 9. Like I said, I'm trying to do some of my favorite kinds of meals too. Not just my favorite restaurants, but I like barbecue. So the best place on property for barbecue for me is the Polite Pig in Disney Springs.
I've never been. It's one of those times where sometimes it's so hard depending on where you're going to be and what your meals are to make it somewhere. I should. So not on my list, but I know everybody I've talked to always says something great about it. I know our friend Jeff Apoka is a big fan. Yeah. He often goes, like him and Dee will go over on Saturdays sometime, and sometimes not go to the park. So he'll just hit up Disney Springs, and he'll often hit that up.
I went with Deirdre, matter of fact, this time. It was like our arrival day, and Margita was tired. We were staying at Saratoga Springs.
Okay.
We hadn't eaten yet. I got something for Margita at the quick service at the resort, and Deirdre and I walked down, and the thing I'll say about Polite Pig is the line is very intimidating. It is but the way that they do it works really well, and it's fast, and they kind of get you a table for you also, although you're walking into a line and you're ordering and like you would a quick serve, but they'll sit you down.
So it's like if you go to a barbecue place in, say, Austin, Texas or Kansas City.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense. That's good.
Yeah, it was great. And I think that particular time I had a pork sandwich. Know that I was really hungry or something, but boy, I'm looking over and I was there one time with Samantha and Glenn and Rebecca. We had such a great time and had all of the sides. They have some great vegetables, like what's those little green cabbages?
Oh, Brussels sprouts.
Thank you. Brussels sprouts. Even Brussels sprouts are great in the sides.
What's funny is I have a couple neighbors that when we get together to grill, we'll go to like Costco or the local grocery store and pick up. I don't get I'm not a big Brussels sprouts fan, but there's a few times I'm like, oh, some of these are really good.
Yeah. Now I'm looking over at someone else eating, and I knew this, and I was thinking I probably would have loved to get the butcher board for 2. So that's got pork shoulder, smoked chicken, brisket, and barbecue cheddar sausage with slaw, house pickles, which are outstanding. 2 corn. Yeah.
The question on the house pickles, are they dill or are they sweet?
They're sweet, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really good. And then you get 2 market sides, like we were saying. You get Brussels sprouts and the other sides. Now you can add ribs for $7 more. So that's that's $44 if you did that as 50. That's a good meal right there.
And again, it's like what you're going to pay if you went to like a nice barbecue restaurant.
Yeah. And if you like bourbon, they also have got some great bourbon choices. You'll just see all the bottles.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. They got some good drinks and like that. Yeah. Probably the best place. Again, don't be intimidated by the line. Get in line there. I know it wraps around towards the garage and I've bypassed it because of that. And I think Disney Springs generally, if you like to eat early dinner, 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that, not a bad idea to beat some of the crowds because it can get really crowded in Disney Springs. But
it can.
Yeah. All right. Number 8.
For my number 8, we're gonna go over to the boardwalk. We're gonna go to Flying Fish. I ate there once before a Moonlight Magic event, and I was there with Noreen, Wendy, and Deirdre, 3 fabulous ladies. I remember that night we shared the lobster bisque, which was tasty. I had a shockingly enough a fillet on their menu at the time. I didn't see it when I looked earlier today. They also had a really good wedge salad. They also have braised pork, but a lot of things you'll see at a restaurant that has, and a fish. And again, a spot that, and I've heard mixed reviews. I know a few of our friends have gone there and had, I think you might be included on this, have had maybe like subpar service or subpar food. But I was impressed with it. And again, you're at the boardwalk. So if you're staying there or, you're at Epcot and you want to sneak out for a nice meal, go to Flying Fish.
Yeah. I got a lot to say about the Flying Fish. It's on my list. I'll save.
Okay.
I'll tell you where it fit. You'll find out where it fits.
Okay.
Later. So a little suspense, but it's on.
Alrighty.
It's in my top 10.
Perfect.
Always been one of my favorites. I've always talked about like that. I'm not a signature restaurant person per se, but it's kind of funny. I've got at least three of them on my list here.
I like to do one a trip. It just kind of, I don't do a lot of, because, we do a lot of grilled steaks with the neighbors. So, and we'll occasionally, we'll go out with the neighbor guys. We'll go out for a nice steak dinner, but I do a lot of my signature dining at Disney.
What I like about theirs, though, it's not stuffy, it's casual, and the 3 on my list are like this. And they have that open kitchen. I always thought that was impressive. Of course, I like steaks. A lot of people say, I don't want to go there because it's seafood. Boy, they have one of the best. Andy's shaking his head because the filet is so fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take a look at the menu when I get to it a little deeper. You mentioned, I always found in my trips to Flying Fish, and I've done several, a couple stories about this. I had a friend at work that knew nothing about Disney World, and he went to Flying Fish, and he said, you got to go there. He came back to work and said, we did Flying Fish, and it was excellent. And it's so funny because I walked by it a million times, never thought to go there. And with his recommendation, I started going there, and I love it. And I felt their service was one of the best on property for many of my trips until one day I had the most horrific experience I've ever had. And part of it wasn't their fault because the Skyliner went down when Ken and I we were on separate Skyliners, but the Skyliner went down. I ended up being an hour late for the reservation, but it didn't get any better. The service was horrible. The bill was late to come. It was just the most miserable experience.
So it's like, it's not just one thing went bad. It kind of happens. Like 3 things went bad or 4 things went bad. So, but look at the menu. They have, a potato wrapped red snapper, pan-seared organic duck, some scallops. As we talked about the filet, they have a New York strip, and the New York strip and the filet are the same price. Obviously, the New York strip is probably a bigger cut of meat, and they have a Chilean sea bass, roasted salmon, right around anywhere from $49 to $62. So again, you get that, you share an appetizer, you're going to get a couple drinks. You might spend $120 a person, but again, it's a great place. And then you can add enhancements, like you can add shrimp, or you can make it a surf and turf with shrimp, lobster tails, scallops.
To finish up that story, I just remembered I was dreaming of that filet all day long, Andy. You know how that can be.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't wait to have that dinner tonight. And I get there and Margita says, oh, you guys were late, so we ordered for you. And I went, what? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And we ordered the tomahawk steaks. Now,
Mhm.
I had no reason to be upset because
No.
they were incredible, and I never had them before.
Oh, a tomahawk steak is great, especially we'll occasionally do that with the neighbors, and then my one neighbor has a Springer Spaniel, and Millie, if she's been behaving, she gets the bone,
Yes.
uh, and then I gotta be careful because then she turns it into like a shiv, and I'll find it in my yard.
That's right. I don't eat like that at home, so I really appreciate it. It was good. All right, now my number 8, I'm going back to Disney Springs, Raglan Road Irish Pub. Notice how I'm giving a little variety here. So
Yeah,
I've done my pub, Geyser Point. I've done my barbecue. Now I'm doing an Irish pub.
and great music.
I love that Irish folk music between the fiddle and the whistle. I was trying to think, what is that flute instrument they use? Or in the dancing, of course, is just an added plus. So the entertainment is fantastic. The atmosphere is fantastic.
And it's always busy,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is a good sign.
Yeah. You might get put in a place where you're not getting a good view of the dancing. That could be a disappointment. I've had that happen,
Yeah.
but they'll bring little tables over and they'll share some of that fun dancing. I love this menu is humongous of all the ones I was looking at, Andy. They even have a steak. They call it a serious steak right now.
Do we know how Kevin feels about the fish and chips at Raglan Road?
Are they proper?
Probably not.
I don't know. This one might be as close as you're going to get in Disney World to a proper fish and
Okay.
chips. $29.95. That's a favorite of many geeks. Of course, they've got that. I've always wanted to try the bangers and mash, which I never end up doing because I like pork sausage.
Bangers and mash is good though, but that's the thing we talked about earlier at some of these restaurants. It's like you have what you like, and God, I want to try that bangers and mash, but I know that one I think I usually get is going to be good, so I don't want to gamble.
I've had the shepherd's pie, which I like that kind of meal. We talk about beef and potato, but the braised beef. Just let this sink in a little bit, Andy. 12-hour slow-cooked beef short ribs in a red wine reduction, Colcannon mashed potatoes, roasted broccolini, our favorites, carrots, and sugar snaps. I mean, the way they do braised beef in Disney World, I love it, no matter where you get it, but that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, their chefs are definitely well trained. They do, and also, especially it's good to see like at a place like Raglan Road that can have it's like a diner that has such a large menu, but everything comes out consistently good.
So that's a great menu. You get a nice salmon if you want there too. Pork schnitzel.
Oh yeah,
good stuff. I love the Irish, and hey, goes without saying the drinks are fabulous.
oh yeah.
Could use a little Irish whiskey any day.
Mhm.
Scotch. I don't know. Will they allow scotch there? I don't know.
I don't know.
Good drinks at the Irish pub. Everyone has got an Irish pub in their town.
They do.
There's a song that says that. All right, Andy, we're up to number 7.
We're gonna go over to Coronado Springs and we're gonna go to Three Bridges. Three Bridges is a place where they don't do reservations. They can do walk-up reservations. So if you're staying at Coronado, it's great because you're going to hang out in your room. I and Dan and Deirdre right there in February. I really like that place. I think the food is good. Like you start out with the shareables. They have a white queso and chorizo dip. Their crispy chicken wings are good. It has a sweet and spicy sauce. I know I got mine with it on it. You got it without. They also do a trio of dips. They have like a roasted corn, the white queso dip with chips, and house-made guac. They do some salads for the people that want to do that. But I know the only thing I've had there is their Three Bridges signature press burger. It has bacon, caramelized onions, garlic aioli, and comes with some smoked paprika fries. Now, when we went, and our waiter was phenomenal, Grayson, he was awesome because we know we didn't want the whole thing, so he actually split it. And not only did he please pre-slice it for us, he brought us our own plates and divvied up the fries. I've always had great service there. I know when we were there, Wendy and Samantha wandered over, and they probably did something. She might have done her vegetarian dishes. So again, they have a good. Oh, and they have warm churros. Their churros are pretty good. I'd say probably my favorite churros on property. So that's another place I know. And it's called Three Bridges, Villa del Lago, and you got to know how to what. Didn't you have issues with that one time?
Yes, let's another shout out to our pal Chris. When I was talking with him, he applauded me for not complaining about the name. So for any newbie, if you're looking for Three Bridges and you see this Villa del Lago sign, and matter of fact, the glass and the T-shirt says Villa del Lago.
Well, and the only drawback with the T-shirt is it's the one drawback with some of these things at Disney is you got to make sure you get there at the right time, or if you see something, buy it then because they no longer make that shirt. And it's one of those very soft, comfortable T-shirts. And I wanted to get another one because mine's kind of starting to wear out, but no dice when we were there in February.
Yeah, well, I've been wanting to make a point to get over there. Andy and I finally go, and they didn't have the T-shirt, but I do have the glass, Villa del Lago.
Good.
Affectionately also known by Three Bridges. And yeah, the atmosphere. I think a great thing to say about these restaurants, because they're not in the parks, you might not go over to Coronado. I think Coronado is a hidden gem. Many of the geeks that come on the podcast love it. Encourage me to go do it. Yeah.
Let's talk about that area. Grand Destino Tower, one of the best, probably the best bathroom view from the men's bathroom on property, or you can see the fireworks
while you go.
Yep. They have Toledo, which I've eaten there, I think, twice, and it's, the tapas. And then Dahlia Lounge is across the hall. Again, they have that rooftop. We had probably one of my favorite nights for the first Geek Meetup I came to in 2022, I think it was. That's when we we did the wonderful birthday video to our pal Rob Madiri. It wasn't even a milestone birthday, but hey, we did it. So yeah, you can, again, you're right. It's kind of known for the conventions being that bigger thing, but it's great.
I've never done the Mexican restaurant in there, and I don't remember the name right now, but the quick service is good at the restaurant or at the resort. And also Rick's Sports Bar is there too. So yeah, there's a lot of cool places to check out. So
yeah,
highly recommend if you want to go off the beaten path, check out Coronado, and it's a great option if you want to stay there as a moderate.
Yeah. All right, Kurt, what's your number 7?
All right. The Boathouse again.
Ooh, good call.
The Boathouse, the thing about, I think this is the last of my Disney Springs, but we were talking about Cape May and Wildwood. This reminds me of having a restaurant on the water, which I love. The atmosphere there. I mean, you could go over to one of my favorite lounges right next door.
Jock Lindsay's.
Jock Lindsay's right there. You could start there, have a drink, enjoy Jock Lindsay's, and then that area right there where Jock Lindsay's, the Boathouse, Wine Bar George, and Raglan Road is right there too. I mean, that's my spot right there.
And one of the cool parts at Boathouse is, it's about $125. You get 3 to 4 people, but it's the vintage amphibious cars.
Oh yeah, right.
And the cool part is, I believe a lot of those are from Minnesota, from Lake Minnetonka, and some of them will say from the harbor will say, or port of call will be Lake Minnetonka, because I believe the gentleman that started the Boathouse had a couple restaurants in Minnesota on our big lake, which is Lake Minnetonka.
I saw one of these documentary kind of shows when the Disney, I'll call them Imagineers, were out looking for those amphibious cars around the country to restore.
Yeah.
To bring them to Disney Springs. There's a great thing I would love to do that I've never done.
Yeah, same. It's on my list, and that's one of those things where I've not been back with my parents, and when we were there in 2014, they weren't there, but I'm like, oh, that's something my dad would love, but
I love that.
But that thing, like, again, like, I don't know how well they are for accessibility wise to get in and out, but it'd be a fun thing where if it's you and your partner, or you just want to hang out, or you get a kick out of it, or hey, you live down there, or you're going down with your parents, you're my age in your 40s, and you're going down there with your parents, hey, bring your dad, because something tells me your dad's going to love that.
I know it. Such a great atmosphere on the water, and I love raw bar, so I'll have some oysters for sure. And they have lobster roll. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of lobster rolls, and they do a nice one there. I like how, I didn't know this, but they call them Maine style lobster roll. I didn't realize Maine, my experience was never that they had some kind of dressing. They call it a lemon chive dressing. I know a lot of my purists here in Connecticut would, like Judy would say, yuck, quite loudly, but I like it.
What was that that guy, I think his name is Glenn Kessler. What was that Heart of Palms thing he was yakking about on the website this week? On the Facebook page.
But they've been listening to my podcast. I said, don't call it. What was a fake lobster? What do they call it? Yeah. It was something like that before. And it's Heart of Palm. So I'm proud that they have seen the errors in their ways and
Good.
They call it Heart of Palm. If people like it, that's fine. Not my thing.
No, same here.
I mean, but this place, another huge menu. You can get a filet mignon. You can get a nice steak.
And that place is always packed. And that's one where you can either do your reservation through, through Disney World, or you can go on to Open Table and make a reservation. But that's one where you legit have to book that. I don't know how far out you can go on Open Table, but pretty much the day you could make your reservations for restaurants for dining at Disney. If you want to go there and eat at a regular time, you got to book it.
And it's a big place, but you're right. It's always busy, and it ranks. Tony Ann and I were talking about this when we were talking about busiest restaurants in the world.
That's got to be up there.
They serve a lot of people here at the Boathouse. But
I've been there a few times, and I've never been disappointed.
It still has that vacation feel, like you're at the beach.
Correct, and that's what's nice about it.
I love that. That's, again, my second favorite kind of vacation on the beach with some great seafood or a steak.
Yeah.
Surf and turf is my thing.
That's the funny part is we talk about flying fish being more than just a seafood place. But to me, I'm only going to get seafood at the Boathouse.
Yeah. All right. Where are we? Number 6?
Yeah. Number 6, we are going to go over to the beach club, and we're going to go to Beaches and Cream.
Nice.
It's a place that's, again, another one that's popular where you need to make your reservation, at that 60-day mark when, the dining reservations can drop. I've been there a lot. I love the grilled cheese. It's very cheesy, so you can get some strong pulls on your grilled cheese. You can get tomato soup. I'm not much of a tomato soup fan, but I will do, you can get French fries or you can get onion rings. I've had the French dip. I believe you've had the Reuben a few times, which are good. But, I think the thing they're most well known for is their desserts, and they have their, we'll call it they have the kitchen sink, which serves 4 people, and that's kind of fun to see. It's $39, but it's got a lot of stuff. So if you have small children, when Johnny and June get older, you can bring them there. By the way, Kurt, I do want to say congrats to your son Ben and his wife and the birth of June, and you now second grandchild for you and Margita. But welcome little June to the world.
Thank you, Andy. Andy's one of my pals that has my personal phone number, is texting me all the time, and he's such a great friend. So thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. We're so excited. The reason I'm very excited, I get to do some redemption. I always talked about my daughter, Lindsay, who's started the podcast with me. And when we started going to Disney World, she was probably at a good age to do Bippy Boppy Boutique, but we didn't know about it. I don't think when we first started.
Yeah.
And then when we finally did, we fubbed the dub and we never took her. And I know she would. She used to pose whenever she wore something like, fancy. And that saddens me. So I've got redemption. June already has a tiara. We'll put it that way. So I'm very excited.
Is she an honorary traveling tiara?
Oh, yeah. She's everything. I had this experience with Nick and Carlin and their twins, and I know you did too. And I held their little girl.
Wiley.
Yeah. Just while we were in the Beacon Barrel looking at the parrot, and she's at that age where she's like just mesmerized by the parrot behind the bar there. But as you said, I have a grandson who's 2 years old, but I don't know, there's a sweetness in a little girl that I can't describe. And it's something that hit me. I'm going to have a little granddaughter. Now I do.
And those twins are here in a couple of weeks. I think it's right around the end of July, first part of August. Those 2 little adorable twins, Wiley and Simon, are going to be a year old.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
So
I will
cool.
say, of that trip we did in February, that was my favorite part of it. Was spending time with all 4 of those.
I knew you did. So, yeah.
But yeah,
Beaches and Cream.
Back to the food. And then I've never done the kitchen sink, but you can even do the No Way Jose. You could eat it yourself. It's $14. Or you can, if you have somebody, you can share it. And or if you're not really hungry, they can do a little sundae, and they can make it like a baby No Way Jose.
Well, let me be clear right now, Andy. You're never going to share my No Way Jose. That is all mine. That is my favorite dessert on property, and I'm not sharing it with you, dude.
No, I'm not. I would get my own. Like I think Samantha and I shared one because I'm like I want to make but no, I would eat that whole thing by myself anytime.
I understand the sentiment, and it is big.
Yeah.
But don't come near mine. You might just don't keep keep your hands and feet away from mine.
We don't need our 50s malt shop memory.
Yes, Beaches of Cream is on my list. I'm seeing a lot of similarities to our list. My number 6, Andy, I think you're going to love this one. Citricos.
Nice. Good call.
It's in the same vein. This is one that eluded me. I think you've heard me say this, but been to a lot of the restaurants on property. And the Grand Floridian signature restaurants I never did for a long time until I've done Citricos now twice.
Well, that again, a great filet, great atmosphere. You're on the second floor of the, right above the lobby, kind of at the Citricos. I will tell you, I did not have Citricos in my top 10. It was close,
right?
But yeah, that's again. Good cocktails, good food. Again, you can't go wrong there.
Great resort. Yeah, open kitchen. We had such a moment on the couches there before our dinner, which was a spontaneous thing.
Yeah.
Great storytelling, and that's where Dan Robinson made an interesting comment.
My favorite Dan Robinson is for people who've probably heard the story, but we were there and it was like, I don't know when we were there. It might have been August. I don't know if it was like a Samantha birthday trip. But Kate and Holly were there, and Kate had just, Kate, I apologize if I screwed this. I believe Kate had just had her last cancer treatment. So he does a toast, and he does to Kate to new beginnings. Then he looks at Samantha because it was her birthday, and he's like, into old. And he's like, ugh. And we're like, Dan, no, finish this because this is my favorite Dan Robinson story now. And we still laugh at it. And this was, I think, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe.
Right. Called Samantha old?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had a good time with friends and have had good meals. Yeah, I'm going with the oak grilled filet mignon for sure.
Great choice.
All right, number 5.
We're going to go to, well, you talked about it earlier, so I won't do much, but Geyser Point at Wilderness Lodge.
Okay. Yep, we're crossing into each other.
What's your 5?
My 5 is Flying Fish.
Good call.
Yeah, so for all the reasons we talked about, I think that red snapper potato wrapped is still there. That was a signature meal that Margita always gets that she really likes.
Oh, that does sound good.
So, and I noticed Citricos had a red snapper too, but this potato wrapped one is famous at Flying Fish also.
I think a lot of the place when they have the seafood, because I'm supposed they all have the similar vendors, because you'll see the oak grilled fried steak at a few places.
All right. Then, number 4.
The one buffet I have on here, Boma.
Boma for number 4.
Mm-hmm. I've eaten there so many times now. It's a great way to start the day, especially if you're going to go to Animal Kingdom that day. It's over in Jumbo House. If you're not, I've only done the breakfast buffet. I've not done the dinner buffet. I've heard great things about the dinner buffet, but they have tater tots. They have the ham with the spicy mustard. They have a couple things on like kind of a dessert, like a yummy treat at the end. And they have, we'll have fresh fruit and pastries and, eggs and Mickey waffles. And for a buffet, it's pretty reasonably priced. It's nothing outrageous, but kind of a good way to start your day.
Yeah, both breakfast and dinner. You got to talk about the soups if you're talking about dinner too. And it's interesting. So Boma, I was just looking at my top 5. I've been saying my top 5 forever. So if you know me, you probably know my top 5. And Boma's in my top 5. I think it's the best buffet on property. And I'm
100%.
I'm looking at their menu, and a lot of people may not know that because it's at the Animal Kingdom Lodge and might be off the beaten path. And I'm looking at their website, and their menu does not do it justice.
Oh, it does not. Because it says, I looked at it too, like or one of those one breakfast things I couldn't, the desserts I couldn't think about it because I know when I went there when I was there in May, I went and I was texting my pal Nick Ayub, and he's like, "Did you have this?" And I can't remember what it is. And so Nick, I'm sorry, but yeah, again, yeah, they don't do it. They don't do it justice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, the
I
bread
could just eat.
pudding.
I could eat all spicy ham. Then you take that spicy mustard, and then you also dip your tater tots in that spicy mustard.
Yeah, it's famous. But they don't
It
even
is.
mention the soups in their menu here that I can
No.
see. And yeah, they could change it up too, but their ribs are really good. I always, and I don't know that they have it every time I've been there. There's days that they don't have them. Maybe
Okay.
it was that way in the past. But they always got the carved meats, and the salads are fantastic for dinner. Also, yeah,
You know, to quote Bart Simpson, you don't win friends with salad.
salad's not a meal.
No.
That's from John Panette, the comedian.
Oh, I love him. Rest in peace.
His doctor said you can have plenty of salad. He said, "That's not a meal. That's salad's what you get before you get the meal."
He does a bit where I don't know again how people can go so slow at McDonald's. You just have to look at the pictures. You don't even have to talk. You can just point. It's McDonald's. The menu hasn't changed in however many years. This bit's like 20 some years old, so there wasn't much back then. So yeah.
Yeah, hurry along. Well, yeah. Speaking of buffets, he does a bit where I'm in the back of the line. There's a line. There's people looking. And, there's people starving back here. Just
Hurry up.
Take and move. Take and move. He goes, I got back to the table. I went, oh, look, they got ribs. Didn't even know he took them.
Yeah, if you haven't pull him up on YouTube,
Yeah.
I think he passed away maybe 10 plus years ago, but he's a wonderful comedian.
He does a Disney bit that's hilarious.
All right, Kurt, what is your number 4?
So Zebra Domes, I wanted to tell you, was the one you forgot. I want to get that. You forgot Zebra Domes, which are made of elephant poop.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 for me, California Grill.
Another signature, wonderful view. If you do it right, you can go up there if you're not while you're there, or you can always take your, I think your check when you go back and you can watch the fireworks.
Very controversial right now that they have gone to a 3-course selection menu.
So good though.
I understand people that the problem they were having, if maybe you can understand this, people love the view. They were going up there and having a salad, I think, or drinks and hors d'oeuvres. And it is a signature restaurant. That's probably what they were trying to do. But you get a market inspiration, they call it. Is that an appetizer? As one of the 3?
Yeah, I've done it once, and oddly enough, I think I was with Samantha, like Deirdre and Wendy, maybe Noreen. So usually the local gals I go to meals with, but it's $100 per person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember like we had a surf and turf roll that's got Wagyu beef and some crab. And again, the nice part is, depending who you're with, you can each order one and be like, "Hey, I want to try that." Also, beef tenderloin. They got a Wagyu strip loin, domestic lamb. Got me hungry now, Kurt.
I know that's what I mean. It's a great menu.
Yeah. And again, you're paying for the view, but you're also going to have some of the best. Disney has amazing customer service, anyways, with their restaurants. I always say I have no desire to own my own business, like let alone a restaurant. But if I were, I'd find a way to be like, you either need to go down like south, like Louisiana, or go to Florida, like Disney, and just see how customer service is done.
For sure, they do it right.
But yeah, good call on that. Food's great, atmosphere's awesome, and you can see fireworks.
I think it's still one of the best date night places you could go.
Yeah, that is true.
We did our 25th wedding anniversary.
Very cool.
Trip there.
Very nice.
All the kids and their girlfriends and like that. And
nice.
Great meal. So you get a dessert too. I like this vanilla bean creme brulee. I'd probably go with that.
Oh, that sounds good.
Blueberry goat cheese cheesecake. I could go for that too. But
creme brulee.
Do a date night at California Grill. I think to impress your date.
Uh-huh. All right, I'm going to go with my number 3.
Top 3.
I'm going to go across the hall from Boma. I'm going to go over to Chico.
Oh, okay. I'm not surprised.
I have been to Chico a few times. Every single time has been amazing. And again, when you go with friends, you can try. Some of us with our Disney friends, we all have a lot of similar tastes, but some different. They have the wild boar tenderloin. What else do they have? They have a great fillet there. They have like a diver scallop, and then they have a with pork belly, and then they have a bone marrow crusted fillet, which is one of my favorite steaks on property.
Nice. Yeah, we got to say that once. Andy's got to say that's the best steak on property because that's your signature move.
Actually, my favorite steak's gonna be my number one.
You've actually sincerely picked one that you like as your favorite.
I can't. It's my neighbor. They're DVC, and he's one of my steak pals, and we'll have that same discussion, like our best steak on Disney. And I think every time that's where Wendy's like, Andy, your word means something because you change it every time. I'm like, you're right. Yeah, I do, but
I agree with you though, Andy. Yeah, I tell you, I tease you, but I 100% agree with you because I think I've never had a bad one at Disney World. They're always good.
The only 2 times I've had bad steaks were at Le Cellier.
You know, that's funny. I almost put Le Cellier on my list, quite honestly, because I had such a great meal there, and I've had good reviews lately. So,
and I've been there twice, and both times were just like kind of stunk. So I'm like,
ooh,
yeah. I mean, service was awesome, but the steaks were like subpar. It's like I make better ones at home.
Ooh, okay. Well, let's not talk about bad things. We're here to be happy.
Exactly. And sometimes, it could be at Disney, and sometimes the company alone is what makes it a great meal.
Yeah.
The memories you can make with your friends or your family, it helps a lot. So, all right, Kurt, what is your number 3?
Well, first I want to say about Chico too. They have great wines also.
They do.
I know they do a wine tasting event there.
Yeah.
And I discovered one of my favorite wines, that South African sweet wine that they do. Now I'm forgetting the name of it.
So you moved up from your $3 chuck from Trader Joe's?
Yeah. That's right. It's a big move up. Yeah, so Beaches of Cream, my number 3. So you were covering that. The only thing I'll say about Beaches of Cream is I have a hard time on that menu every time I sit down because, like you said, all the geeks talk about the cheese sandwich, grilled cheese, and I love that, but I don't know. I could make a grilled cheese at home.
I know.
Although they do, I'm sure you can add bacon and ham. I'm looking at this too. And they say the tomato soup is outstanding, but I don't think it can pull me away from either doing the French dip or the Reuben. That's the 2 that I get stuck on. And the menu, I think besides that, you got a great burger and they got a cheddar bacon ranch chicken sandwich too. So for a little place, although they expanded it, it's really popular with the geeks, and it's my number 3.
It's always packed, and it's also like when we were there in May, it was so cold inside. I'm like, oh, it was such a nice respite from the heat. I'm like, oh, this might kind of cold. It's almost. I actually joked. I'm like, I wish I had a long sleeve on right now.
The thing that amazes me about that, it's nothing. There's nothing flashy about it.
No,
it's just, I don't know. The atmosphere is just, of course, it's beaches. It's the beach club, which I love. Mm-hmm. You got the resort and the pool, the best pool on property right outside the door there. But still, maybe it's the simplicity of it. It's just a soda shop that has great food, great fun. And the best ice cream dessert on property for me is that No Way Jose. So,
and always great. The waitress we had in May, I swear I've had her once or twice before.
Yeah. I think they've been there, some of them.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of them, and I think I asked her, and she'd been there for probably 8 years. And that's what she said. It's like, you make great money, and why not?
Awesome. All right.
And they probably turn the tables fast enough. So
yeah. Number 2.
My number 2 is my only one in Disney Springs, and it is Wine Bar George.
Wow.
I've done. First off, the owner is named George, one of the top sommeliers in the world. He actually is a man that works there, so you will see George working quite often. He does a wine tasting. I did that with some of the geeks maybe 2 years ago. I think it was back in that January trip during the marathon, or a different time. I forget. It's like $150 a person or $125 a person, but it's worth it because he really teaches you some good wines. I know Wendy's done that, I think, twice.
Oh, yeah.
But it's nice because you can just go there and do small plates and share. They have a house-made hummus that's really good. Their crispy mac and cheese bites are phenomenal. And for that, they use crushed up Cheez-Its, wonderful burrata, spiced olives. their pork belly's phenomenal. I was in May. We ended up having it twice because it was so good. They do also a charcuterie board and a artisanal cheese board. Or you can, they have a menu. They also have a grilled ribeye, branzino, and a double bone pork chop. And they have a skirt steak, which is, I believe, shareable. It serves two. They have with asparagus, roasted potatoes, and then some chimichurri. But I've only done the small plates here because it's great to share. Great cocktails, great wine menu, obviously. And again, the man that runs it actually owns it, works there. So that's always a great sign. But yeah, I've started going with Geeks and then have just really enjoyed Wine Bar George. And it's right by our favorite area that has, Jock Lindsay's is right across the street. And then you got, right next door is the Boathouse.
Yeah, Raglan Road.
Mm-hmm.
Even Art Smith's Homecoming is right in that area too. Yeah, it's a great restaurant. You know what I'm thinking about? And even when you suggested this topic, we got to do some of our favorite lounges for food.
Oh, that'd be good.
Because this is a great example that you could call this. I mean, it's a restaurant. They do have a full menu and everything, but I mean, it's called wine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in the middle there because you could go there, like you said, for these small plates and make a really good meal. And I think that is one of the fun things. If you've not done lounges at Disney World for your meals, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. It's a great way to, especially if I'm eating lighter now, and it's a great option.
Yeah. All right, Kurt.
Good one.
What's your number 2?
No, number 2 is Boma. Yeah. I've always talked about, I love the buffets at Disney World. It's funny now as I look at this, really only Boma is the only buffet on my list. And it's, like I said, it's the best one on property. So we talked already all about it. Animal Kingdom, again, check out the great thing about this list that Andy suggested is that it's not in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you an opportunity to see these amazing resorts.
Well, and the nice part is if you go to, say, Boma or Chico, is you can get there early, especially if you're not staying there. You're probably going to have to Uber over to the resort. Yeah. So I always allow a lot of time. So, and I say, hey, if I get there early, it's in Jumbo House. And then, you can go through the lobby and they have this, 3-story, 4-story floor-to-ceiling windows. Yeah. But you can go outside and you can see the animals. So you can see some of them eating, or you can see the array of different the animals. So that's always on the what do they call it? So that's nice to see. And it's a fun resort to walk around.
Absolutely. They got a great lounge there also overlooking Boma. I would always include that in my trip to Animal Kingdom Lodge. I mean, it's astonishing. This resort is one of the top in the world. So I would venture out there. And the other thing is do you even need a reservation there? We've winged it there many times.
I think Boma you can. Usually Boma, I have noticed this is the only time when we were there in May, we got in right away a lot of times. And maybe it's because we go with the larger groups. It's, sometimes you have to wait a little longer, but I know my son and I went a couple years ago and he really liked it. So.
Yeah. So Andy and I had quite a few that were similar.
Yeah.
And for sure, I agree with all of his choices. It's amazing, the dining at Disney World. But I guess we're going to give our number 1 now, Andy.
I'm going to do an honorable mention.
All right, before your number 1.
Yep, and I'm doing this just because our dear friends Wendy and Samantha, it was brought up on this week's podcast.
We're there right now. Stinkers.
We're going to go out really outside Disney World. We're going to go to Disneyland. If you're at Disneyland and you're at downtown Disney, Ballast Point Brewery, food is phenomenal.
Ooh.
The wings are phenomenal. Actually, that night where Samantha ate the pork rolls for the first time, we may have been at Ballast Point Brewery for a while before we walked right back in. And that's the cool part. And they talked about it. Downtown Disney is right there. You can literally leave downtown Disney and be in one of the parks in 10 minutes.
I love it. When Margita and I finally get there, I want to be reminded of these things.
Yep. Oh, we'll do it. All righty. My number 1, we're going to go over to the Riviera. We're going to hop in the elevator and go all the way to the top. And we're going to go to my favorite restaurant, Topolino's.
Boy, you and a lot of people, and that's not that new. I mean,
No.
It's a newer one of the restaurants.
Yeah.
Obviously, Riviera is one of the newer resorts.
Yeah. I've never had a bad meal there. It's Deirdre and I joke. Deirdre and I, it started, I think, a couple years ago when we did we did the Friends cruise. And she and I happened to we both got there early and we started the trip off with, I think, going out to like dinner together. And we joked, it's like, oh, we should do this every time we're here early because we usually get there a day or two early. And she and I have done Topolino's a couple times. In fact, in February when we were there for Kevin's birthday, she and I were both there the night early, and we went to a Topolino's and had we got a table. We had a great dinner. But Topolino's is great for breakfast too. So you go there for breakfast. It's a character breakfast. Again, it's going to be price fixed. You're going to pay more, but I think it's $55 for an adult. But it's really cool because the characters you have Mickey as a painter, Minnie as a poet, Daisy is a ballerina, and I believe Donald is a sculptor. But on that breakfast menu, they have a wood-fired steak and eggs with mushrooms.
Yeah.
And they're great mushrooms. And you get like a pastry basket. The characters come around with dinner. I've had the filet at dinner when I was there in February with Deirdre. We shared the burrata and the escargot. That escargot was great. And then I should have written this down. They had sole, which is it's a whitefish, and that was phenomenal. And she didn't get the filet because it was actually Ash Wednesday. And being the good Catholic she is, she was good. She got the sole, but she couldn't finish it, so I got to have some of her sole. Oh, it was so good. But yeah, I know we did the ricotta and the escargot. I want to say we did one other thing, but I can't remember. And the great part about Topolino's is afterwards you go down on the terrace and it overlooks Epcot. You can see the ball. You can, if you time it right, you can watch the fireworks. Again, you talked about California Girl being a great date night.
Yeah,
great date night for Topolino's. You can, it's kind of a nice thing where I think you see more people. It's kind of like California Grill. You'll see more people that will go back to the resort and change rather than wearing their park gear.
Yeah.
Because it is, maybe breakfast is different, but like that dinner, it's that chance, go back to your room, get refreshed and get dressed up. And just, again, great wines, great drinks. And yeah, Topolino's is my number one.
You're convincing me it should be high on my list. I've only eaten there once, I think. I've been up there a few times.
Okay.
I just want to say I love the towers. I'm so glad they built 2 more towers after Bay Lake Tower. And
yeah, it's like Grand Destino, and it's a little different because, you grew up in Connecticut. I grew up in Minnesota, where, we all of our, with the exception of maybe going up to northern Minnesota and getting a cabin, all your hotels, motels here you have closed hallways, so you're not exposed to the elements. So I kind of like that at say at French Quarter or Riverside or Art of Animation or any of the many other ones, but you get the Grand Floridian, you get Contemporary, or you get the new Riviera. It's nice, but yeah, highly. That's mine. Kurt, what's yours?
Yeah, I say it's great. It's high on many people's list, and again, I've never been up there, and you can see the weather coming in. You could see storms like off in the distance and lightning bolts.
Yep.
It's a great place, like you said, to hang out afterwards. But great meals. I had a great. And before you leave that, Andy, you got to say it is the best steak on property, right?
Oh, 100%. I will. If you had to, tell me, hey, which one is it? It's that, and it's the breakfast one or the dinner one. The mushrooms they have with the breakfast one, it's just adds a little bit to it.
I love it. I am getting hungry. Oh, we should have given the warning before we started this podcast. Definitely don't go grocery shopping after this. Spend, 2 months budget on your groceries.
Or if you listen to this, some people listen to it on their way into work or their commute or on
I apologize.
Yeah. Maybe you listen to this. Yeah, maybe put a warning to listen to it before dinner.
That's right. Well, I've always said Ohana's my number one. I'm going to stick to it. And I do recognize they've changed the menu. I really enjoyed the fun of the big skillets and the open fire that they cooked on. I loved that. I thought that was great. I mean, I love the Polynesian resort, so it's still got to be there. And I still appreciate the food. And I think some of the things that they did are actually a little bit better with the food. Like I never ate the chicken wings on the old menu.
Those wings are good.
But, the chicken, I'll want to go home and make the chicken that they do at Ohana now because it's really good. They have, of course, some of the most famous stuff, the pork dumplings. I didn't know I loved pork dumplings so great until I went to Ohana. And I'm embarrassing to take me there with the noodles and the pork dumplings. Just keep bringing those. I love those. I think I've walked out of there feeling not too great many times because I'm stuffing myself at Ohana.
Yeah, those Ohana noodles are good. They have the peel and eat shrimp. They have the, wood fire grilled black pepper teriyaki beef. But yeah, that Ohana's nice. And again, you're at a great resort. That lobby has gotten a little busier now. But again, if you're not staying at the Poly, it's still a good chance to go in and take out check out the Poly and hit up, Trader Sam's.
I mean, simple things like the salad. I love the dressing they put on the salad, the stir-fried vegetable. I love stir-fried vegetables.
Well, and when you're at the parks and you're, sometimes eating, the quick serve or, having a breakfast Sammy, it's sometimes it's that you don't realize, that salad actually really hit the spot.
Mm-hmm. Peel and eat shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the biggest thing I've heard from fans is that teriyaki beef sometimes is too dry. So another thing I would say, if you get a dry batch, ask them to bring a medium.
They will. That happened to us when we were there.
Yep. It happens a lot. So see if they'll bring you another batch that's a little not well done. But I still love it there. I love the atmosphere. You got to talk about the bread pudding. Everybody loves the bread. I never knew bread pudding was so popular until I went to Disney World and had a podcast talking
Same
about it. But it's pretty amazing with that caramel sauce dripped over it. And my kids used to embarrass me with the Ohana bread and the honey butter.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they just, guys, there's a whole meal coming after the bread.
Well, it's like when you go to, what is it? So those, people joke, you go to you say, was it Texas Roadhouse and they have the cinnamon roll, those rolls ahead of time? I want to fill up on those.
I think this was a great list. Well done, Andy. Well researched. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I'm glad I ate dinner before I did this or I'd be starving right now.
I'm looking forward to Margita just said to me this week, our 60 days is coming up for our September trip. And, I get one pick. And what do you think I should pick, Andy, for my
Topolino's?
You think Topolino's?
Because I think your lovely bride will love that place. So I think it's a win-win for both of you.
We've done it. She was with me.
Okay.
Deirdre was with us too, I think, the time we went.
But
funny enough.
And do it for either do it for. I would do. That's a tough part. Do it for breakfast. That's actually on my last trip we did that as our last meal the day before we went home. Is went to Topolino's for breakfast and then did 10:30 brunch and then headed out. Yeah, I'm giving it some because it's always a choice between doing something maybe that I've never done before, which it's getting hard to find, or do one of the classics that you love. Hey, this is what you do, Kurt. Yeah. Tell her spice roll table or Topolino's.
That's a good strategy because
make sure you edit this part out.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
She's not a fan of Spice Road Table.
I know.
I thought you were going to say pick one down in Disney Springs and then say, or Topolino's. I like that idea. Boy, you're sneaky. I like the way you operate, dude. Andy, it's always fun. I wish I could have these conversations with all my friends even more often. We don't see each other enough. Oh, and no. I wanted to introduce Andy Hoffman and say he's one of my weird internet friends because I have this sign that Samantha gave me. But I mean that in an affectionate way.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You know how to take that.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you stay in touch, Andy.
I will.
Maybe I'll invite you back. We got to do that lounge one.
We do. That would be good.
All right. You did so well here. I'm impressed. And I want to have you back on the podcast one of these days.
Kurt, I appreciate it.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
My old pal Andy, thank you so much for coming back on the show and always being a good friend to me and many of the geeks. It's always fun talking Disney with you, and I love hearing about your surprise trip, the friends you spent time with, and the experiences you helped them discover for the first time. I still can't believe that of all the places we could have crossed paths at Disney World, we ended up finding each other on a Port Orleans Riverside bus. Has that ever happened to you? See someone from home or someone you haven't seen in a long time? I've had this a couple times, just having that conversation with a friend. And then you don't get to see him again for a long time. Like I never saw Andy again on that trip. I want to thank everyone who supports the show through the Traveling Tiaras. Margita and Judy are helping listeners plan vacations to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Universal, Epic Universe, and destinations beyond Disney. When you book or transfer your vacation through the Traveling Tiaras, you receive their experience, planning help, strategy, and support. And supporting them supports the show. We are incredibly grateful to every geek who has trusted them with a vacation. Email them travelingtiers@gmail.com. And to my wonderful Patreon family like my pal Andy, donating to the show every single month. I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for your support for the podcast. Patreon.com is a website you can go to. Look for patreon.com/geekinonWDW. Your friendship, your generosity helps cover the costs of producing the show each week and allows us to keep creating these conversations, trip reports, geek meetups, and community moments. Thank you again for helping us keep the podcast and this community going and growing. I had an interesting moment this past week. I may have heard me say I've transferred my hosting to another company. And then this past week, I canceled my old Libsyn subscription. That was weird. There were still some downloads coming, even though I haven't posted to that feed in a month or so. I don't know if you're one of those people because you're not listening to the new episodes. You're listening to the back catalog. I had like 200 downloads last month, I think, just on the old feed. I hope they find me using some other way. I don't know how they're accessing. Maybe a subscription I didn't set up. I don't know. But I'm going to miss you, but I had to migrate to another hosting platform so I could bring another podcast. Geeking on Travel, which I'll be reaching out to some people to record the next episode of that. You can listen to the one we recorded with Judy that's out there right now for her Norwegian Cruise Line vacation. That was a fun chat with Andy, and I'd love to hear from you. What's your number one Walt Disney World restaurant outside the parks? Is it a signature restaurant like Topolino's, California Grill, Jico, or Flying Fish? Is it a Disney Springs favorite like Raglan Road, Wine Bar George, The Boathouse, or Polite Pig? Or are you joining me at Ohana for pork dumplings, noodles, and far too much bread pudding? Come share your favorites with us in the Geekin' on Walt Disney World Facebook community. And if you have a recent trip report, a Disney story, or fun topic you'd like to geek out about, reach out to me. Email me, kurt.stone@geekinonww.com. I would love to welcome more of you onto the podcast because this show has always been at its best when the Disney geeks share the magic together. Again, Andy, thanks for doing a great job with your list. We definitely need to bring you back for that favorite Disney lounges episode. And next time you make a surprise trip to Disney World, tell me before I spot you on the bus. Thank you so much for listening and going geeking on Walt Disney World us. We love this community. We love you geeks. Until next time, keep taking care of each other. Have a magical day, and may all your dreams come true.